Right. So how do you feel about women like having like male best friends?
It depends. Are the men straight or are they gay? Because
They're
what we
straight.
okay.
They're like
They're
you and I. Well,
uh,
at least you.
I think that's a tough situation because there's
No,
really
it's
no
not.
such thing. There's really no such thing as a best friend when it comes to the opposite sex. So
What
uh,
about just a friend then? What if he's a male friend? Let's take away best friend.
I think it's possible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's possible. And you got
Hmm.
to understand a lot of that comes with trust in your partner, man. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that has to do with that. Because you got to understand they could have grown up together, they could have went to elementary school, they could have went to college together. They could have, so there are situations to where yes, you have a man and a woman who could be friends, and that
So
that act-
you would agree that you're pretty understanding then.
I'm pretty understanding. I would agree.
So as long as she can have like 4 or 5 good male friends, and you be pretty cool with that.
I wouldn't be cool with that. No. If anything,
Okay, maybe just one.
yeah, maybe just one. That's fine. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm gonna trust whoever I'm with. That's the
So
whole point.
maybe you don't trust. It's not that you don't trust her. Maybe you just don't trust him.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. You know what I mean? That's true too.
Maybe it got nothing to do with her.
Right, right, right. But
So what
yeah,
do you do?
um, I think you be aware. You have awareness of that particular situation. Now, let's say they talking to each other a little too often, then that's something different. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, you can tell the difference, man. So I'm secure in who I
Like,
am.
how often can she talk to him? How many times a year? There's 12 months.
I would say, man, I wouldn't put a number on it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
There has
But
to be, because one too many is too many.
all right, right. That's true. That's true. I would say at least, you talking to somebody 3 to 5 times a year. That might be something. That might be something else. But it's just hard to say that. It's hard to draw that line between male and female being friends when both of them have partners. You know what I mean?
But what if the male don't have a partner? What if he's just a single man and he's good looking and he's taller than 5'7"?
Um, then that probably wouldn't be a friend situation. That probably would be somebody who's just trying to stay in the loop, and to get his chance whenever he can. So yeah, that wouldn't
Was
that
he trying to get his chance because he's good looking or because he's over 5'7"?
um probably neither. Probably just because he want her. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So um, I think that's what a lot of men actually do too. So
Have
but
you done it
then
before?
um I have. I
Me
have
too.
stayed in the loop. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I stayed
so
in the loop a lot too. I'm a
yeah,
looper.
yeah, I stayed in the loop, man. You know what I mean? Just to kind of see what happens, and
But you made it seem like y'all was just friends.
well, it was already understood that we're just friends, but it's also understood that I would want her as well. You know what I mean? So, and that's why it was a good question when you asked about how many times a year can somebody talk to each other, because a woman know how to keep that guy in the friend zone.
Mhm.
So, but the same way, men know how to keep women in the friend zone as well. It's just not one way.
So would you consider us friends now?
I won't. Uh,
So, you guys had we had a session where there was some comments that were made, on the YouTube, and we want to, play some of the comments for you, and we wanna call it "Y'all Gonna Get It Today" clap back.
all
So
right.
this will give you an opportunity to clap back at some of the comments that were made to you, um, and help redeem yourself in some of the comments, because people said some pretty ruthless things, and
Definitely.
like you said, comments are a big thing. Maybe this will give you a chance to kinda redeem some of that.
All right. All right.
You scared?
Uh, no, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not.
Alright. Y'all gonna get it today, clap
Y'all
back.
gonna get it today, clap back. Yeah, I like that.
All right. First comment says, "You didn't find love and you wrote a book about finding love. Make it make sense."
um, do you know how many likes that one got by any chance?
I think it was like over 3,000.
Over 3,000? Okay. Um, well, actually, I actually love that comment. You know why? Because she's talking about the book. So I don't care what they talking about, but talk about the product that I put out. But you don't make every shot you take, man. You know what I mean? You don't get every job you apply for. So that's how I would make that make sense.
That's it?
That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Interesting answer. Next question or next comment. Brian the type of guy to wake up his girl and tell her he going to sleep first.
Bruh, that's crazy. um, that's kind of crazy. That's totally false. Why would I wake my girl up just to tell her I'm going to sleep? That is very comical. That is very comical. I don't
So
even
you
know.
wouldn't wake her up and be like, "Hey, wake up. I'm going to sleep first. You wait for me. I don't wait for you."
Oh no, okay. Because I was getting ready to ask you to break it down. I don't even understand the comment, um, but no, I definitely wouldn't wake my girl up to tell her, hey, I'm going to sleep first or I'm going to sleep. No,
So
that's
what
crazy
would you do if
work.
you fall asleep first?
Huh?
What would you do if you fall asleep first?
Um, mm, then I'm sleeping. I'm out.
So she's safe to fall asleep after you then.
She's definitely safe to fall asleep after me. Yeah.
Okay. Next
Or,
comment.
or before me, whatever.
He couldn't even reach the top shelf talking about top tier.
Wow. Wow. I couldn't reach the top shelf. That's funny, man. Because I feel like I'm top tier and top shelf. And they know it. That's why they making those type of comments. They know I'm top tier. So, people want to bring you down to their level. You got to understand a lot of people are on the bottom tier, man. They can't see past the middle. So
So can you reach the shelf or no, Brian?
I can reach the shelf, man. And if I don't reach the shelf, I'm gonna get a step stool and I'm gonna get on
Mhm,
that step stool and I'm gonna get whatever's
mhm,
on the top shelf that I need.
mhm. What if she needs something on the shelf that's a little bit higher than you and that the stool won't be able to accomplish it?
Well, hey, man, I'm gonna have to put on my shoulders while I'm on the step stool, right?
Mm.
To help her reach it. But we gonna get whatever we need off that top shelf. You hear me?
Y'all gonna get it together.
Y'all gonna get it.
All right. I think this is the last one. I hope he finds the man of his dreams.
And that's what we're talking about again. That's the ultimate disrespect that you can tell a man. And mostly women who comment that, they're gay themselves. And mostly it's real, you know what I mean? Because why would you question a man masculinity when you can see very clearly that he's not that way?